Hello.
Would you state your name, please?
Amanda Macarthur.
And would you mind spelling your last name?
Yes, M-A-C, capital A-R-T-H-U-R.
Okay, thank you. Do you know David Swift?
Yes.
Okay, and did you know Karen Swift?
Yes.
Could you tell me how you know them?
Well, I met Karen first at a birthday party.
Okay.
And then later I met David through Karen.
Okay. And how long did you know them?
How long did I know Karen? I
Yes.
met her in March of, I believe it was 2011.
Okay, so you only knew her for a few months?
Correct.
Right, okay. Did the two of you ever spend any time together?
Yes.
Okay. And what would you typically do?
She and I were both into fitness, and so we talked a lot about fitness. Our girls are similar ages, and they both danced together at the studio. I was also an instructor there, so we spent a lot of time together there.
Okay. Did you ever observe Karen Swift and David Swift together?
Yes.
Okay. Did you observe anything about their behavior that you thought may be odd? Or?
In the beginning, no. But later, yes.
Okay. Could you tell me what that was?
Can you be more specific?
How did Mr. Swift appear to be a passive individual, a controlling type individual?
In the beginning, very passive.
Okay. Did that change at any time?
Yes.
And when was that?
There was an instance where Karen and I were together, and I felt like it was a very threatening situation from his part. We were being stalked.
Okay, all right, and I'm going to get to that in just a few minutes. Was Karen's personality more of the type of a person who was submissive, more of an independent type person? What type of personality did she have?
I felt like she was extremely independent.
Okay, and did you know that Karen had filed for divorce?
I had come to find that out, yes.
Okay. Do you know anything about her finances, about whether she was dependent upon Mr. Swift or whether she was independent financially?
She had mentioned to me that, yes, she was financially dependent upon him.
Okay. And did you ever talk about plans after her divorce?
She talked to me about her plans, yes.
Okay. And what were her plans?
She wanted to be financially independent, and she was working toward the means to do that, to become so.
Okay. You started to talk to me about this just a minute ago, but I want to ask you a little bit more. Was there ever a time that you felt like you were being followed by Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Okay. And who was with you at that time?
Karen was with me.
Okay. Tell me about that day. Where were you going?
We had been together and just hanging out like women do, and she had an errand to run, and so she was with me in my car. And when she came back to the car after getting out and running her errand, she said to me, "There's David." And she had pointed out that he was at the far end of the parking lot facing us, hidden behind some other cars. Of course, I didn't see it at first. But she told me to flash my lights, and so when I did, he pulled the car around beside us to her side.
Okay. And what did he do once he approached the vehicle?
He asked what she was doing and what we were doing.
How did that make you feel?
Very afraid.
Afraid? Is that
yes, afraid.
Okay. And why were you afraid at that moment?
I felt like the things that she had confided in me were very blatantly true.
Okay. And do you remember when this was?
I do not recall exactly.
It was in 2011.
Definitely.
Okay. Did you ever observe Karen with her children?
Yes.
What type of mother was she?
Devoted, protective, fun.
You said something about that you and Karen like to be physically fit and to talk about those things. Was she physically fit?
Extremely.
If Karen had had a flat tire a quarter of a mile from the house, what do you think she would have done?
Changed it herself.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you.
Ms. Macarthur,
Yes,
can
sir.
you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You indicated in your testimony that Karen went in her own business to make money. What sort of business?
She cleaned houses.
Okay.
She taught aerobics, and she landscaped yards.
And had she been doing these things for a while?
I had only met her in March, sir, so I'm not sure.
March of 2011?
Yes.
And you met at the gym?
At a party.
Okay. And did y'all work out together sometimes?
No, we worked out at different gyms, but we were both interested in fitness.
Okay. And she was a strong woman, the prosecutor asked you?
She was fit.
Yes, okay. So she was working when you met her for money, to make money in these different businesses, being an instructor, doing landscaping, and what else?
Aerobics.
Okay. You indicated that you were with Karen in a parking lot, in the car with Karen.
Yes, sir.
Were you in her car or was she in yours?
We were in my car.
Okay. And where was this?
Specifically,
Yes.
the town of Dyersburg, outside of Big Lots.
Big Lots, a
Yes.
business?
Yes.
Okay. And it was during the daytime?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Karen told you to flash your lights towards your vehicle she identified as David Swift?
Correct.
And in other words, she asked you to get his attention?
I assumed that was what she wanted me to do, yes.
Right. And in response, David Swift drove over to where your vehicle was?
Yes.
Okay. And y'all had a conversation. He said, "What are y'all doing?"
He asked her, "What are you doing?"
Right. There was no yelling or physical altercation, was there?
No, sir.
She wanted you to flash him and he bring him over and get his attention, and he came over. He responded to you flashing the lights.
As I stated.
Yeah. And he came over and they had a discussion, a very brief discussion.
Correct.
And then you and Karen went on with your business.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I have.
Did Mr. Swift just leave on his own, or did Karen ask him to leave?
I honestly cannot remember.
Okay. Did Mr. Swift know what you drove at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Did he know that Karen Swift was with you that day?
Yes.
Okay. That's all.
Let me just make sure.
Okay.
You and Karen Swift were in your car,
Correct.
and before she asked you to flash your lights, you didn't see any interaction or communication between Karen and David Swift or yourself?
No, sir.
All right. And so he was in his car, and you really don't know what he was saying or thinking at that point before the lights were flashed to you.
No, I do not know what he was thinking.
And then she asked you to signal him, and then he responded by coming over.
That's correct.
All right. And that's a business, open business where there are a lot of cars and people come and go?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Were you sitting near Big Lots?
Yes.
Where was David Swift's car sitting?
This would be 5 businesses down, I'm estimating.
Okay. So it was not near the business that you were going in?
No, sir.
Did he tell you that he was coming to that same business?
No, sir.
Okay. Was he near other stores?
I do not know.
All right. That's all.
All right, ma'am, you can step down.
Okay, thank you.
This witness excused.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you're free to go. For your next witness.
Janie Helm.